Jonesy, hello mate. You're back from Beckenham where you've been with the Lions again. Result didn't quite go your way. I mean, England, look, that's a strong South Africa raised side. They've lost both of their tests, but rather than looking at why they lost, I wanted to have a look at around the question of do results actually matter at that level? What do you think?
Well, we want them to, being in there and talking to the lads. We, especially from Fred, it's the results do matter. We want to win them. That's why we get together, and that's why these matches are played. But bigger picture is but also you're looking at individuals and how they went, because ultimately that's what's happening. They're sort of being checked. Their cards are being marked for the next level. But at the same time, when you come together as a group of professional athletes, you're there to win. So it's that's first and foremost what tries to happen, and then along the way, you really hope that individuals shine and give themselves some massive credit in front of watching eyes who have big influences on who plays a part in the future.
Is there a sort of a standard checklist of what you're expecting from them, both on and off the pitch?
I think outside of playing hours, when we come together, you're looking for commitment, that when they do their warm ups, they're at a high intensity, that they have their purpose. So that side of it, and so around the actual match, you're looking at that to happen, and that's part of my role in the mornings when I do the fielding stuff, is to I get a simple remit: provide energy. I want to get them energized, and so that's through games and what have you. But the players themselves have to buy into that. So that's the sort of thing. And then you're looking for quality preparation throughout the match. Of the morning, that guys are in there doing sort of valuable stuff that is going to help them in that match. And then in the match, you're looking for individuals to assess the conditions, the opposition, and make good decisions on that, and show that they've got a good technique, which we know because they're high quality players. But ultimately, how do they use that technique to adapt to the different conditions? And from Arundel to Beckenham, they were slightly different.
They say that failure is feedback. Is that how you see it?
You're learning. Let's call it. Let's call it learning, because we don't want these guys to continually fail at this level. That's not what it's about. It's you want them to learn from it and almost put it in a memory bank. So when they come across the conditions, so for example, Beckenham was bouncier than what they play against probably traditionally, and so you want that. I remember talking to a couple of guys that, what would you do differently if you came back here and played it again? The sort of the answers in terms of where they would look to hit the ball, that sort of stuff. So I said, okay, we'll just lock that away. So when you come to those conditions again, you can very quickly draw on that, and in a way, you don't make that mistake twice. And I think that's what, as much as the Lions is about, is exposing these guys to different conditions against different opposition to give them that memory bank for when they step up to the next level.
Do you have, like if you watch sports docos and whatever, the coach has got a big whiteboard and he's writing down the team values and all that jazz. Is there that sort of thing? You're a school teacher, you probably like that thing, but I can't see Fred.
All that jazz. Well, no. Ultimately, you're getting together. You're getting together to play for England under the Lions. You've got a badge, and that sort of says enough for these guys, for me. And so we don't need to go into that. We just what I spoke about before. It's about the efforts around it. This is above county cricket, and you guys are all being selected for a reason, and that's because they've been considered to have potential for international honours. Some of them already have played a little bit, so that's enough, really. So we don't have all that jazz.
Well,
No whiteboards or anything like that.
Like at Barcelona, like the under threes all the way to the first team play the same ticky-tacky football. Do you think that's something that England should do at cricket? Like Baz, for example, it just filters down the same style of playing.
I don't necessarily think it works. No, and then I think you can do it for a year. Hard to do when you're just bringing guys together for really short periods of time, because
Yeah,
I
okay.
think that's the test side. The test side do spend more time together, so I am sure that at the start of the test series, and don't forget, I wasn't there at the start of the Lions to hear what Fred spoke about, and he could well have spoken about playing for England and what it means, and the style of cricket where they're looking. So I wasn't privy to that at the start, so I'm guessing, but I just think with the England unit, there's probably more opportunity to really sink that in. Don't get me wrong, individually they're looking at the way individuals play. So the individual style and will be being assessed. But yeah, no, I wasn't there, so I can't really say.
And they've all gone back to their counties now for a couple of days, have they? Because you meet up again, what, tomorrow evening, don't you? Is that right? Have they all gone straight to wherever the next sort of training camp is or match is? What's happened now?
Yeah, well, there's a selection for the ODI series,
Okay.
which will be yeah. So that's what's happened. So the two tests are finished, and now all the players will be waiting on the ODI selection, and I guess I'll see who's selected when we get together, or we're all in the hotel late Tuesday, and then when we're training on Wednesday. So that's what I don't think everyone will be involved. Some will be retained, some will go back. It's a real balancing act with availability and who's maybe had a big workload. So some of the bowlers have bowled some serious overs, and so when they look at that, they think, okay, we've had pretty much back to back 4 days. They've bowled heavily. Putting them through three one-day ODIs in quick succession is a bit of a red flag. So all those considerations will be considered. So yeah, it'll be wait and see who I see on Wednesday.
And those who go back to their counties, are they given things to give to it's like going home and giving your mum like a list, when you're going away for a school weekend. Do they go back to their coach and says, Jonesy wants me to work on this or Fred wants me to work on that? Is that how it works or not?
There will be there will be feedback for those guys, definitely. Because they've been around some. So we had Neil McKenzie as he led the batting.
Oh, did they?
An incredible incredible batting coach. Someone who scored over 50 first class hundreds
Yeah.
and knows his stuff. So he was speaking to the batters and they will have definitely gone away with some work on and same with the bowlers. So there is that communication flow so that the counties know that what's been expressed to them at this level, and so the players know as well. As much as anything, it's up to the players to sort of trial that, put that into play and work on it so that when they're next seen, you want to see progression.
They'll have learned some quirks if Neil McKenzie's the batting coach, won't they? Isn't he the bloke who used to
Yeah,
glue his
no,
bat to the ceiling?
he taped his bat. He'd make sure the toilet seats were. Yeah, no, he did speak about that a few of the. At times we just general chat. He was. Yeah, no, but he was when he scored runs. If someone had done something, he would stick with it. A bit more superstitious, more than anything. Habits, OCD. I think he might have said something like that. He liked to maintain if it meant retaping his bat to the ceiling, well, so be it if you're going to score test runs.
Yeah, fair enough. I suppose those young guys, they're better off not performing. I know you don't like the word failing, not performing in the Lions environment, even though they're wearing an England badge, than they are in county cricket, I suppose, aren't they? Because of the support system that's around them. They're not going to get dropped, sort of thing. The support system, the learning they're going to get from not scoring runs at Lions is probably better than it is at county cricket, I'm guessing. Is that right or not?
Yeah, but again, I would say the methodology of not scoring runs is important. So someone's played, been in it for two tests, that's four innings, and played three shocking shots, which just looked, which were you just look and go, what's going on there? That's not what we're looking for. But also you want to stay in this side. They're young guys who are in that they want to stay in the Lions because the Lions have got a busy winter ahead. I think they're going to the West Indies, they're going to South Africa, I think, and they're also off potentially for another one after Christmas. So they want to stay in it. much like I get your point. Back at county cricket, if you're failing, that's your job, isn't it? So
Yeah.
there's a bit of a fallback for them that if they don't perform for the Lions, there is that safety net of county cricket where they can go back to where they're comfortable at and probably have performed well in the past to get to, not probably, will have performed well to get to this stage. And so that's I suppose a bit of a comfort safety net for them. But they definitely come to the Lions wanting to prove a point as to why they've been selected, so they can be selected again and hopefully be considered for England.
Without picking on anybody, I'm just going to pull one name out because I was just looking at the scores. Ben McKenzie, for example, got that big double hundred early doors in the county championship. Has not got that many runs since. People talks about him for England. Amelia Gay got picked instead. His Durham teammate. So look at somebody like him, where obviously he's a big lad. Obviously, technically he's very good. But then you look at things like character and confidence, and to be in England full cap. I'm guessing you need as much character and confidence as you do talent.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's Test cricket. You're tested at that on all levels. You're not, it's yes when you're batting with your technique, but it's how do you cope with it. So someone like Ben probably he came into these Lions Test matches knowing that he was close to selection, I imagine, and so then it can go two ways. It can be, he could be coming in with a bit of disappointment that he didn't get that opportunity to be in the Test side, which then sort of culminates in a bit too much pressure on himself to perform, because doing well in these two Lions tests, we don't know how the summer's going to go, and if there's a succession of failures up the top, they will be back. They will be looking for someone up there. So it's for someone like him, it's probably a tough environment to go to. A bit of disappointment not getting in that Test squad, and then being put in this Lions side with a huge amount of potential personal expectation on performance to push his name forward. So just two Test matches as well. He didn't score them, but he's going to go back to the blast cricket potentially if he's not involved in the ODIs. And then there's some county championships in a few weeks, isn't there? So
Yeah.
there's lots more chances for him, definitely.
If you are a Sam Cooke or you are a Dom Sibley, I mean, I've got to get him in every episode, right? And you're not selected in the Lions squad, which, if that's the feeder into the Test side, then is that a sign that you're never going to get picked?
No, because the little bit of experience I had, it's not. I don't think it's an immediate feeder. If you have
Okay.
a look, there's so for those two names you'll mention, those two, they're going to be picked from county cricket performances straight into the Test, so like an Ollie Robb.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
the Lions sit in a slightly different space where these guys are 2, 3, maybe even 4-year prospects. Someone, Ben Mays, he's 18.
Hmm.
So so that's where the Lions sits, and that's where it was different to where we're playing the South African A side. They are guys older, more mature, much more experienced, vying to go straight into the Test side. So it was a really good challenge for these young Lions, and that's because they're up against guys who are pushing for Test places with masses of experience, against guys who are still probably potentially finding their way in county cricket, not long out of the under-19s, and who may be prospects a few years down the line.
Yeah. I saw Cody Yusuf play, didn't he, for South Africa? And he was just at Hampshire recently because they're overseas, and he's played full South Africa as well. Cody Yusuf.
Yeah, there's a
Go on.
number of guys in that side who had played full internationals,
Oh,
and so
really?
that's where yeah, exactly. So that's where we definitely had, the talk was around putting the losses into perspective, whilst being disappointed about losing. There was a bit of perspective as to who we were against.
Do you reckon the Lions? What were the crowds like at Beckenham? Because Arundel was all right. Was it people turn up at Beckenham to watch, or not really?
Not too, I don't think as good as Arundel, but yeah, so they were okay, to be honest,
Yeah.
but nothing that you could be massively aware that there was a big crowd there, for
What do you
sure.
think of this as an idea? I reckon that the end of season closer should be the winners of the county championship play the Lions in a 4-day match. What do you reckon? Good idea. You want to put it to Fred? Sanjay said,
Okay. He'll say, who? Oh, I tell you, well, yeah, you could do that, but I don't know if you saw recently as well that someone suggested that the county champions should play the Australian Sheffield Shield champions.
yeah, I saw someone put that forward, didn't they? An ex-player, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
somebody
can't
said it.
remember.
Yeah.
So for me, I quite like the sound of that because it's at the end of our season, start of theirs. So it works well for our guys and also for them as a bit of a season starter. So I like that probably more so than your Lions stuff.
Just, well, all right, we'll tell Fred it was your idea then. The scoreboard at the end will say that the Lions lost, but last question, do you think that actually you as a coaching side will have got pretty much what you wanted out of it, regardless of the result?
Yeah, absolutely. We got eyes on all those guys. We saw the way they play, we saw their characters, and we saw the way they come together at team. And the guys fought really hard. After they probably didn't get the runs that they wanted in the first innings of each match, but they then fought pretty hard to then get back in the game, especially at Beckenham. And so yeah, absolutely, there was some real positives to take away from it. That is for sure.
Josie, good stuff, mate. I will see you later on.
Cheers, Sanj.